Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? Boy, it's been a while since I've done a live, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why is it that it takes me so long to get brave again and get back on here and do live posts? And it just seems to be one of those things that having momentum and just letting you know that I'm here is just really important. Today, I wanted to bring a lesson to you on out of this book. This is the Rank Advancement Blueprint, and by Rob Sperry. And it's like every page is just so full of really great nuggets. You know how when you do things, when you're learning, and then you kind of feel stuck, like you don't know how to apply it, you don't know how to do things, and really getting involved in learning is the true way to be a leader. You can't just automatically get to the destination without taking a map or taking a plan and figuring it out, right? And so he has this really great thing. It's called LALA, LALA. And he says if you want to know how to become an amazing leader, is you apply LALA. And LALA means listen, apply, learn, and take action. And I find and I see so many people in network marketing, they join and then there's no forward motion. I don't know what happens. Maybe there's that scared or what do I do next? Or there's so many things that you don't know how to move forward and to get started. And so really what you want to do is just listen, like sit down and actually take a moment and think about what's being said. And then the second step is to apply it. So a lot of times when you go to a seminar or something like that, you'll actually sit and listen to the speaker and then you'll walk away and go, I don't remember what I just learned. So the best thing is you're going to sit there and take notes. And then after you're done taking notes, or one good, really good way of applying that knowledge is to see how it really affects you or how that applies with you or how you can actually use it in your life. And so I notice when I go back and look at some of my notes, it doesn't say that. It doesn't pertain that kind of information. So I get stuck. Like it's just words on paper. I can't apply it because it doesn't mean anything to me. And um, so when you go through and you apply it, then the next thing is you're going to learn. So just stepping in and going through and doing active learning. So you just sat down and listened to somebody talk to something, then you actually are writing down how that applies to you, and then another way you're gonna apply it by learning and, doing, you're gonna get in action, start doing that. So if I told you or I asked you as an assignment to sit down and write down 100 names, like, that just seems so overwhelming. Like, I don't know 100 people in my life. And I'm gonna say, "Okay, we'll start with 5. You know 5 people, and if not, go out and meet them." I mean, I know everybody knows at least 5 people. You know your mom, your dad, maybe a neighbor, maybe the bus driver. I mean, everybody knows somebody. And if you were to start by taking your phone and going through and writing down all the contacts in your phone, that's a good start. Man, I have a million contacts in my phone. I probably haven't talked to very many of them over a long period of time, but well, that should be an awakeness for me, right? And then so just start down writing those names, and I'll bet you come up with at least 200 names. And so when I say to start with 5, and then showing you different ways and areas of your life that you could find people that you know, then that becomes a way to apply it and a way to actually get that into the listening and learning and doing the function, right? And so sit down and write down those names, those 100 names. Start with 5, then make it 10. And then this is a names list thing that's going to be growing and using all the time. And so being able then to figure out how to do the follow ups and things like that, then the first thing is if you call those 5 people, then you have 5 things to follow up on. Every contact you do with somebody is following up. So then how do you follow up with people? Well, pick up the phone and call and figure it out, right? But if you don't, if you still stay stuck in the listening and applying, you are never going to learn what's going to happen. So I've been doing over the last 2.5 years prospecting in India. I know nobody in India when I first started. I knew nobody, not one person. I knew people who used to live in India, but I didn't know anybody in India. And so when you go through and you do social media and you do these different things to try to meet people and stuff, it's like really overwhelming. So many people I've talked to in the United States say, I don't know how you do it, Becky. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how I'm doing it either, but I'm doing, and doing is the action of learning. Every post or every different thing I do, I'm like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that way," or "That doesn't make sense," or "I have a typo," or there's always something wrong with it. I fail miserably at it, which is great because then I know how to actually learn from that and apply a new function or a new action. Because when you're doing, you have to plan, do, and then review. You're never going to learn anything if you don't go back and readjust and refocus on what you're doing. It's really interesting. I teach a ton of marketing classes and stuff when I have the print shop, and I understand marketing, but when I go to apply it for what I'm doing, it's all messy. It never looks exactly what I would teach people, right? And so it's really interesting to go through and figure out the plan and go back, and then once you do it, see what worked, what didn't work. And reevaluate that. So plan, do, review in that learning aspect of it, and then the last step is action, right? Of course, you need to take action. It's not going to happen if you don't take the first step. So, the first trip we planned to India, Suzanne and I sat down and we bought our plane tickets. And then we went back and got quotes for different hotel rooms. And then we got quotes for different banquet rooms. And then we got, the invite stuff going on. So there's all the steps that if you break it down in little bites, you'll be able to get there in no time flat. So the biggest thing is, I think, is really just taking action and getting in action. You're not going to learn anything if you don't do. A lot of people say when you're teaching someone something, then you're actually in the focus and the plan of actually learning. And I remember at the print shop, we used to teach people how to bind books. The books with the coil binding. Like I got one right here, I think. This is actually like we used to print a lot of books with this coil binding on it. And how do you do it? You'd punch it in the machine, and you couldn't do more than 5 or 6 pages at a time. And then how do you keep it in order? And how do you put the coil on? And how do you clip it? And there's all these steps on it. But what I would do is I would take that person and I would do the function. I would actually do the punching, and then I would have the person do it. Like, them standing there watching me do it, they're not gonna get, all that, right? So, then I have them do it. So, as you're learning how to do your names list, then you do the function of actually calling them. Then you get all messy, things don't work. You can even tell people, "Hey, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just bear with me. I'm learning, and I really appreciate your feedback so that I can get better as I go through this." And, um, and then as you start to build your team, then you're teaching them what I'm teaching you. Exactly. So then you learn through the process of teaching other people, maybe what you ended up doing that worked better for you than what worked really well for me. So LALA, LALA, means listen, apply, learn, and then take action. So those are the really powerful ways to hone in on it. And I hope this was helpful training for you guys. Just a little tidbit on how to get started with your network marketing companies. Just get started. Do the Lala. So thanks for joining me, and I hope this was helpful. All in on oils, everybody.